The other thing that everyone was talking about this week was Taylor Lorenz's expose on the woman who is behind the account Libs of TikTok. Adam, are you familiar with Libs of TikTok?
I followed this a bit. Uh, yeah, I didn't know the account, but I followed the fallout this week because she was crying on MSNBC a couple weeks ago about how toxic the environment online is, and then and she said that people threatened doxing on her, and then she doxed. Is this right? She doxed
Yeah, yeah,
some
yeah.
Twitter
I mean,
account,
well,
right?
I mean, like, well, like the supporters of Libs of TikTok are accusing Taylor Lorenz of doxing, like an anonymous, private citizen, for her political views or whatever, and like uh, this whole debate about like sort of like media ethics and social media and like what doxing is or isn't doesn't really interest me because I just think like the thing to keep in mind about this whole affair is that like anyone who is attempting to maintain or craft for themselves some sort of like perfectly logically and morally consistent standard by which like oh it's okay to dox to do this to this type of person but not this type of person or just like it's never okay is playing a mugs game. They're fooling themselves because like the truth is while I tend to err on the side of like I like don't think that people like anonymous accounts should be like I don't know sort of investigated for public speculation. I tend to err on the side of like it's more wrong than right. I'm sorry, this woman, I don't care what happens to her because I think once you cross a certain threshold of evil, I don't care about being like seeming like a hypocrite or having like the only standard is that everyone has determines for themselves who they would like to suffer and who they would like to be punished for their thoughts, actions, and beliefs. And as far as this woman is concerned, don't give a shit. Like, she's fucking terrible, and especially like when you run an account that is all about inviting public scrutiny from like for other people and trying to get them fired. Like, and then look, what you put out there will come back to you twofold. And like you can't play the game and then fucking cry foul when the same thing is applied to you. So like that's my take on this, and also the fact that she's a landlord in Brooklyn means that like even if she wasn't running the Libs of TikTok account, I think that justifies ruining her life.
Oh well, I was on your side until I found out she was a landlord in Brooklyn,
She's
and I think
Shabbat,
that
Adam.
I think people she's in Chabad.
Yeah, Chabad. Yeah,
Is she?
yeah, she is.
Whoa, really? And she was posting an account of liberals chimping out. That's kind of wow. That's a twist to me. That's
I mean,
crazy.
they're the
They're Matt's old neighbors.
yeah. I used to live like a block from their world headquarters.
Yeah, you used to have the mitzvah tank running through your neighborhood
Yeah, every day
24/7.
the people above me would like do the weird clomping dances every Friday.
I wouldn't call them weird, but yeah, they're
They were terrified of my dog too,
really.
and it was a pug.
They were terrified of your pug.
It would like one time the doors opened and of the elevator, and there was a mom there with her kid, and they saw the dog, and the mom screamed at like the top of her lungs, and then freaked out her daughter, who ran away and fell on her face.
Uh, no, we were talking about before you got on the air before you joined the call, Adam. Now, like the Chabad people, like they're the ones who have like a Messiah that they believe like
Yeah, the
like,
Lubavitch or Rebbe.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They think
Mosaic is here.
Menachem Schneerson came and is going to come back.
Well, I mean, when I lived in Crown Heights, I would see the posters, like up on like street lights or just like they were everywhere, and it was all like Mosaic is here, like the Messiah has returned, and it's
Yeah,
just a photo
Mashiach.
of like a 112-year-old man who looks like a fucking mummy,
Yeah.
who's since died, by the way.
Oh, he's dead. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's dead.
He died.
Well,
in
that's
Brooklyn.
controversial. Some people think that he is occluded. Others think that he's like faked his own death. There's a lot of theories.
Mm-hmm. They were the only Hasidic sect to encourage people to wear masks. The rest, they were when that was popping off in Brooklyn. They were the only ones that weren't that weren't getting in fights with the NYPD. So take that however you want to take it. But I'm not saying they're good guys, but
But I mean, like as far as sects of like extremely Orthodox Judaism, like the Chabad how do you say Lubavitchers?
Lubavitch, yeah.
Lubavitchers, like they have reconciled themselves more with like modern interacting with like contemporary secular culture more than the other ones have.
Secular Jews, they're the only ones that proselytize to like lapsed Jews. They're like they want to bring
the ones
them
who
back
approach
into
you on the
fold.
street and say like, like, oh, excuse me, sir, like, are you
They're
Jewish?
the guys that approach you on the street and say like, have you done the tefillin today?
Well,
when they're like, are you Jewish? I'm always like, no. And they're like, come on, man. Come on.
Well, Matt, I think your point about them is that like they've just become Christians.
Yeah, I know. They really show the danger of getting
it's polytheistic. Yeah.
It's now they're running around proselytizing, talking about the Messiah being back. What are you doing?
They're evangelizing. They're literally claiming that the Messiah was back, and it was just this fucking random old guy who's since died, or become occluded. Let's be.
Wow, it's crazy that one of those
and then one of those
TikTok
has been running a fucking Twitter account where she just and the Libs of TikTok account is like, I mean, she's like definitely was. Like if it had just been like context free, like clips of people being weird on TikTok, like that's one thing. But like 9 out of every 10 videos she posts are just like a public school teacher with like purple hair, and that's it. And it's like we got to fire this person. It reminds me of the what's like the women posting L's account, where like maybe 1 out of every 50 things they posted was like, oh, that's kind of funny, but like it's just like the bit only lasted like 5 minutes. Before like it just betrayed their obvious like seething hatred and resentment of women, and most of the things are just like a woman like, oh, like I tripped going down the stairs onto the subway today, and they're like, fucking L, bitch.
And I was pregnant and I miscarried. That's a massive L. I don't know. I followed that account for 10 minutes and then they posted a screenshot like Adam Friedland has followed you, and I'm like, oh, I'm not following this anymore. This man is not acting in good faith.
It used to be about it should be about the L's.
Yeah. It should be about the L's. It's not about the clout, okay?
Yeah.
Stop trying to coast off of getting the gay guy from Cumtown for the follow. No, but
so she's run this Twitter account, and like her thing was she stated flat out that like any teacher that like comes out to their students should be fired. And I think like in like coming out to your students and like in the worldview that encompasses these people and the fans of the account is like if you are gay or lesbian and you acknowledge to your students in any way the reality of like your life or relationship or whatever, like you should be fired for that.
Well, yeah, because it's bringing like sexuality into the classroom setting, and like the response is, well, what about teachers who are straight and talk about that? And what's the difference?
Mm-hmm.
And the difference, it's like these are the normative questions that you're supposed to trust, the intermediating structures of society to handle, but we don't anymore at all. So everyone is just like, all you can do is become a internet vigilante, one way or the other, dox one side or the other in order to try to enforce some sort of normative values that otherwise are going to be left to institutions that you just don't have any faith in anymore.
Yeah, and like, as I said, I have no sympathy for this fucking woman or her stupid, awful account. But I got to say, Taylor Lorenz breaking this story, stop crying on television about how fucking mean people are to you on the internet, because it really does undermine the whatever point or being you as the messenger for this, it does undermine your credibility here.
Yeah, like if online is the Wild West, it's the place where you can get a posse together and force some rough justice, then you can't complain when it happens to you, because you're once again you want the fucking the teacher to show up, you want the principal, like that. The whole point of this, the whole reason that people feel compelled to do this sort of activist journalism or whatever is because of the failure of institutions. So what the hell, who are you complaining to? I thought we all understood that they've all failed and it can only fail.
And yeah, like don't get mad, get even. Like, if
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson's fans are like, saying awful things to you or whatever, like when you go on TV and cry about them doing that, you're giving them exactly what they want, which is like a confirmation that they know that they're getting to you, which means they're only going to do it more. And it just makes you look weak. It just you're fucking up the brand.
Well, I mean, honestly, the real joke of it is everyone thinks like, well, we're doing one version or another of rough justice to make up for the failing public space, but all generally that ends up happening is that the person who gets targeted either way is able to make a career out of it, who is able to turn their victimhood into cash. Like and that only incentivizes everybody to continue it, because at some point maybe you get owned, and that means that now, boom, you're in the clover.
Yeah, it seems like Taylor Lorenz is the only one catching a check for this, human centipede of outrage, right? She's getting paid for it.
I mean, the Libs of TikTok lady was probably. I mean, she was like, again, like she was
making
funded by
now they're fundraising off of it.
Yeah. And now she's like a permanent staff member at the Babylon Bee, so like she will never ever be prevented from sharing a video of like a t-shirt with like a septum piercing and like blue hair. Talking
That's
about
what the account was.
gender or whatever.
What I assumed it was like I mean, I didn't look at the account, but what I assumed it was like that lady freaking out about Ruth Bader Ginsburg dying and stuff, like those clips.
No, it's mostly focused on like gay teachers, sharing stories about like, oh, like I have a rainbow flag on my desk to like support pride or whatever, and they're like, oh, like that's sexualizing children, like you're a sicko, like you should be fired, etc.